Thanks, Tracy. All right. Well, on to our press conference with the FedEx Cup #1 ranked player entering the FedEx Cup playoffs, Scottie Scheffler. You've had an incredible season, 4 wins this year. Can you just recap the season and give us your thoughts on entering the FedEx Cup playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, initial thoughts, I'm obviously very pleased with how this year has gone. I've been playing some really good golf, and I put myself in position to win a number of tournaments out here, and I've been able to get the job done 4 times, which is really special. Going into the FedEx Cup playoffs ranked #1, nothing's really going to change for me. I'm, just trying to come out here and have a good start and put myself in position to win this tournament. Obviously, the field is really good. All the best players in the world are here, and I'm just looking forward to the challenge of this week.
Absolutely. We're here at TPC Southwind. I know you haven't had a chance to play the course yet this week, but just thoughts on the golf course.
Yeah, I've played this golf course, a bunch of times now. I think this will be my 4th tournament that I've played here, and it's a really good golf course. You got to hit good shots. You got to hit a lot of fairways, a lot of greens, and it's one of those golf courses when you're playing really good golf, you can score really well and shoot some low scores, but when you start hitting the ball offline, you start missing fairways and, not putting the ball in the right spots, you can get in trouble in a hurry. And so I think it's a really good separating golf course. I think the guys that are playing well are going to score well, and the guys that aren't are not going to score well.
Absolutely. Well, we'll go ahead and open it up to questions. Any brave souls out there? Shane Ryan?
Scottie, you're very much in the mix for Player of the Year with a couple other guys, and based on the past, it probably seems like what happens over the next 3 weeks will determine it rather than what you did in the spring. It's a little bit of a weird award in a sport where there's majors and big tournaments, but I was just curious, what would it mean to you? How important is it to you to get that Player of the Year?
Yeah, that would be a tremendous honor to win, but it's not something that's going to occupy too many of my thoughts. I can't control who y'all think is the best player, or who, to be honest with you, I don't know exactly who votes on that. I know that we vote, and do y'all have a vote as well?
I don't think
so. No, is it just players?
I don't, anyway.
Yeah. I don't know how it works, right? But it's definitely would be a tremendous honor, but it's not something that's going to occupy my thoughts. I can't control stuff like that. All I can do is show up and, try and do my best. And so as far as that goes, that's all I'm going to be doing, just showing up and trying to do my best.
And kind of a related question, no matter what happens over the next month, you will end up having had a spectacular year, even if you were to miss 3 cuts or something. How do you motivate yourself to say, okay, let's finish strong and do well here at the end?
Yeah, I want to continue to play good golf. I've been able to accomplish a lot this year and, get to #1 in the world rankings. I've had a pretty big lead in the FedEx Cup for a while now, and I want to continue to do it. It's fun. I like being #1 in the world. I like being at the top of the FedEx Cup. Those are things that are fun for me. It's enjoyable, and so I want to just continue to improve on that.
Great. Sean Martin with PGA Tour right here. She's coming with your microphone.
You played here when you were in high school. Just curious if there's any funny stories from a junior playing just your second tour event, or what that was like. And then also you made your pro debut here, I believe. And if you imagined you'd be at this level 4 years later, or what if you had told yourself in 2018 you'd be #1 in the world and FedEx Cup leader, what your reaction would have been?
Yeah, definitely. It didn't cross my mind when I was. So I played this. I guess it's maybe my 5th start here, actually. So I played here in 2014 as a high school kid. This was my first start as a professional. They gave me a spot here in this tournament, and I think I've played maybe 2 WGCs here and then this one. And so if I was to go back to 2014 myself, all I was trying to do was just be a good college golfer. I had been a good junior, and the next step was to become a good college golfer. And so I definitely didn't see any of this in my future. My dream was always just to make it out to the PGA Tour. And so, all this stuff, becoming, being able to win major championships, being able to win tournaments out here is all just, kind of icing on the cake for me. Going back in time, I definitely didn't imagine myself in this position. I was never really one to look too far ahead. I was always just trying to get a little bit better. And so I don't know if there's a second part to your question, but that's just my initial thoughts.
We'll go right next from Cam Morfitt.
Scottie, 2-part question. You've been leading the FedEx Cup for so long. Does it feel like forever? It feels a little like forever to me. And then also, in junior golf, did you ever have a season like this where you just kind of You just kept piling on the good shots and the good scores and the good tournaments?
I wouldn't say so. I definitely didn't have a season like this in college golf. I struggled with my game for the most part during college. I had a couple decent seasons, but I didn't, feel like I played to my potential. In junior golf, maybe so. Definitely kind of around the state of Texas, but when you get to the national level, it becomes obviously a bit more difficult. But I remember one year where I think in 2013 I won the U.S. Junior in like July, and then I had a few more good starts on the AJGA Tour, and then I won the Junior Invitational at Sage Valley like 6 or 7 months later, and so that was kind of a dominant stretch for me in junior golf. But outside of that, nothing like that in college golf. I didn't play so good.
All right, we'll come right.
It feels like I have been leading for a while. I've had a big lead, and I think maybe I'm up by maybe like 1,200 points or something like that. And I think now a win for some of those guys would help them pass me if I didn't play so good this week. But I still have a pretty strong lead, even with the points being magnified now in the playoffs. And so if I continue to play good golf, I should have a lead going into Eastlake, which is definitely a good position to be in. If I had a small lead in the FedEx Cup, it would probably look a little bit different, where there would be a big jump. If I didn't play good the next 2 weeks. But it looks like no matter what happens, I should have a good shot going into Eastlake to be able to win the FedEx Cup.
All right, we'll come right over here with a question from a local TV station.
Sure. Yeah, Scottie, Matt Enfield, Action News 5 here in Memphis. Just quite simply, what has clicked for you this year? Do you think it's just a natural evolution in your game, or is there something tangible that you could point to?
I feel like over the course of my career, I've tried to get a little bit better, and I've always been a guy that's put in the work. I've always been trying to be the best version of myself. The practice part of it for me has always been the fun part. I like going out by myself. I like going to the golf course, and I like practicing. And so I've always put in the work, and I think this year I've been able to see those results pay off. A lot of times when you're putting in the work, you're not going to see results that next week. You're going to see results further down the road. And so, I'm hopeful that it's just been kind of a natural evolution of all the work that I've put in over the course of my golf career, whether it's been junior golf, amateur golf, and professional golf. And I'm hopeful that it's just an evolution of my game. But, I'm obviously very blessed and fortunate to be in this position. And, I'm trying to soak it in as of now. Soak it all in.
Shane Ryan has another question.
Scottie, it seems like there are a couple players who everybody knows are going to live, but they're sticking around till the playoffs are over and maybe till the President's Cup is over. Without going into names or anything like that, I was curious if you had thoughts about that approach. Like, compared to the guys who left a couple months ago and said, we're done, people that are kind of hanging out and just waiting for the paycheck, and then it seems like they're going to make the leap. Any thoughts there?
I mean, not really. I don't know if I totally understand the question. So you're saying there may be some guys that'll leave after the FedEx Cup?
Yeah, like Cameron Percy earlier today said that Cam Smith and Mark Leishman are gone, but they're sticking around for the playoffs and then maybe the President's Cup. And it's just kind of that approach of like, we're going to get the big money events and then we're going to go.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own. I'm not going to speak on guys that are thinking about going to live and all that speculation. If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. All I can do is talk about my approach. I'm not going to go into what those guys want to do, and if they're going to leave, not going to leave. For me, I feel like the PGA Tour is the best place to play. I'm not willing my dream was to play on the PGA Tour. My dream was never to maximize my financial benefits. I feel very blessed and fortunate to play golf and get paid for it. And so for me, I'm not looking to go out and do anything else. The PGA Tour is where I want to play, and it continues to be the place where the best golfers in the world play, and the opportunity to win FedEx Cups and opportunity to win major championships and to win tournaments out here. I grew up going to the Byron Nelson. I grew up going to Colonial, and I almost won the Colonial this year, and I wouldn't be able to trade those memories for anything. And so I'm not going to go into what those guys are going to do and their approach.
Are you tired of the questions?
Huh?
Are you tired of the questions?
To be completely honest with you, I'm pretty lucky. I don't get asked very many questions about live golf. Maybe only a handful, and I've made the mistake of saying the wrong thing a couple times when I've been asked, just because I haven't been prepared. Guys haven't asked me the question. You guys haven't asked me, and so I wouldn't say I'm getting tired of it. It's kind of part of it now. Guys are going to leave. There's another tour going on, and now they're suing us, and so there's a lot going on. And so for people in the media, it's definitely kind of the story right now. And so it's something that you as a writer, I'm sure that's something you have to touch on, right?
As a very last thing, sorry, Laura. Just very last thing. Are you at all are you going to be following what happens today in the court case? Are you kind of curious about that?
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see what's going to happen. I mean, it's one of those deals where those guys kind of made their decision to go join another tour, and they broke the rules and regulations of our tour, and now they're trying to sue us, which is definitely a bit frustrating. You know, it's definitely, you know, I heard that was going to happen, and I know some guys aren't surprised to see it, but I definitely am surprised to see some guys now suing us. And you know, I'm interested, and you know, if they win, you know, come out here and play. I mean, that's something that's up to the courts. I can't control what's going to happen in a court case, you know, and so definitely interested. But at the end of the day, it has no effect on, you know, my preparation for the week.
All right, Mark Giannotto from Commercial Appeal.
Hey, Scottie. He actually asked what I was going to ask. He asked what I was going to ask, but I'm just curious, are guys talking about it in the clubhouse? You know, like, you guys, you know, trying to figure out, like, the legalese and all that stuff? I'm curious how much it's being discussed.
Yeah, I think it's being discussed a decent amount, just because it's, you know, it's a life-altering decision for people. You know, when you do go join another tour and you break, you know, the rules that we have out on our tour. Yeah, I understand that we're independent contractors, but at the same time, there's certain rules that you have to follow as, you know, being a member of an organization. And, you know, we'll see what happens. You know, all that stuff will shake out in due time. But, you know, it definitely is a topic of discussion around, you know, who's going and stuff like that. But I think there may be only, you know, a handful more guys that will leave, and outside of that, you know, who knows. But to answer your question, yeah, it's definitely a topic of conversation for sure.
All right, we'll go over to Andrew Anderson from SportGrid.
Hey, Scottie, congrats on a great season thus far, mate. Furthermore, to an earlier question, what changed after you got the first breakthrough win, and does it just open up the floodgates? We've got a lot of, you know, good young rookies banging on that door for the breakthrough win, and you just make it look far too easy out there.
Yeah, so, sorry, I'm going to move that. I can't see. So I always believed that kind of winning was a skill that you had, and I still do believe that, because I was able to win in junior golf. I was able to win some in college golf even when I wasn't playing my best, and then I was able to win on the Korn Ferry Tour, and it took me a little bit of time to win out here. And I always knew that I had that skill, and I believed in myself, and then I was able to get it done in Phoenix, you know, under a lot of pressure. There's so many people out there in Phoenix, and I was able to do it in a playoff against Patrick, who's a great player, and, you know, beat other great players like Sahith and Xander down the stretch. And then when I was in contention at Bay Hill, I did feel a little bit different on the course. And so being under the heat of the moment, I learned a lot in Phoenix, to where I made some mistakes, I believe, I think I made maybe 3 or 4 bogeys the first 12 holes, and I kind of thought I had to play perfect golf the final day to win, and I was able to make a bunch of mistakes that day and still able to get the job done and come from behind. And so when I was in contention in Bay Hill, you know, I just kept telling myself, you know, I've done this before, you don't have to play perfect golf, you can make mistakes. And Bay Hill was another good example where I made a bunch of mistakes on the back 9, and I was able to just stay really patient and make great pars. You know, I made a great par on 15 and a great par on 16, and then 2 really good pars on 17 and 18 to close off that tournament. And so I definitely learned a lot kind of being in the moment and in the heat of competition out here.
Okay, we have time for 3 more questions. We'll go to Cam and Sean. Cam first.
Scottie, with all the tournament wins and the FedEx Cup and the Aon Risk Reward and the Comcast Business Top 10, you're going to have a pretty good season. Do you still drive the Yukon? If so, how many miles are on it? And do you just not like shopping?
I do definitely not like shopping at all. I'm with you on that one. I do have the same car, still really dirty. I actually need to get it washed, but I don't know if it's like worthy of me washing. You know, it's like, it gets me from place to place, and, you know, I'm not a big shopper, so as long as it keeps running, I'm probably going to keep driving it.
And mileage?
Dude, it's funny. I don't put any miles on it at home. My dad put all the miles on the car. I think now I'm still at 178, and you guys may have asked me that question a few months ago, and it was probably still 178. When I'm at home, I go to the golf course. I go to the place where I work out, and then if we're going to dinner, it's probably no more than 5 minutes from my house, and we usually take her car because she doesn't want to ride in mine. So I wish I could put more miles on it. It would definitely improve kind of the story around the car, but I don't really drive much when I'm at home.
Lastly, what about your sneakers that you got on right now? How old are those?
Well, fortunately with Nike, they give me some new shoes, so I don't have to shop around too much for those. They kind of gift them to us, so Nike's keeping me looking good out here.
Sean?
It's been an eventful year. Just curious, what was the biggest benefit of the last 3 weeks off, and kind of what did you accomplish and how it sets you up to finish the season?
I think mentally was really important. I was worn down at the end of the British. It's been a long year, a lot of different stuff going on. With Live Golf, there's a lot more energy, kind of being brought to different things. Whether it's trying to improve our tour or talking about guys leaving, stuff like that. So mentally, I think it was really good. We went on vacation after, got some good time with Meredith, and just kind of a good reset. And then 2 weeks at home was really nice. Just kind of getting some physical rest as well. Getting the body right. Kind of this 3 week stretch is obviously really important. Deciding the FedEx Cup and the season-long race and stuff like that. And so just being able to kind of get away and check out for a bit and kind of get the body right was really important.
And last question is from Mike at WREG.
Scottie, how disappointing is it? You guys worked your entire year to get to this point and the start of the playoffs, but now to have this live thing hanging over you with the court case today and not knowing if these guys, how disappointing is it as the number one player in the FedEx Cup standings to kind of deal with this distraction at the kind of pinnacle of your year?
It is what it is. The guys that have left have made their decision to leave, and it's one of those deals where, I'm not going to speak to their decision. It's up to them. They know what's best for them, and for me, it's not disappointing. I mean, we got some of the best players in the world here competing for the FedEx Cup, and I'm looking forward to the challenge of competing against those guys. And I'm fortunate to be in a position where I am in the lead in the FedEx Cup, and I want to stay there. I want to finish the year as number one, and so. When I'm out here playing tournaments, it's pretty singularly focused on trying to accomplish that.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Scottie. Good luck this week.
Thanks.